Hello, everyone, and welcome back to round number 5. A nice quick break before we get into the next undefeated match. And we have here Trafalgar Law that has been through the dinosaur age, taking on the Whitebeard. So another new leader. We're going into 5 rounds with completely different leaders. I am loving this, Ryan.
Yeah, it's always nice to get new stuff on stream, and we've been able to avoid mirror matches for the majority of today, haven't we?
We have actually, yeah, you're right. And is this the first multicolor as well that we've seen today?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and we've seen how powerful Law can be in the right hands. Obviously, this one's been through many hands, but just the deck once it starts get going, it's got such great ability to play cards out for really cheap, to continue to draw and recycle those cards. And yeah, it's pretty strong. We've seen the introduction of both the starter Zoro and the starter Law being reintroduced into the deck.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely. And it's great to see that, obviously, even though we're in set 2, like, there's still multiple leaders from, like, oh, there you go, he brought out the real one. Multiple
Okay.
leaders that are still around in this next set, right? Like, it's not just new set means better leaders. It's more now like means new cards, um, and the possibility of old decks, coming back into it and obviously becoming stronger. And I think that's a key, because I think in OP4, if I'm not mistaken, we're only getting 6 new leaders, which
Yeah,
is
right. I
quite,
haven't
which
actually
is
seen that.
yeah,
Yeah.
which all of them are multicolor, of course. Like, we've already seen, like, obviously the VV and stuff like that. But we're only getting
Mm.
6 new leaders, each one of them being multicolor, to match with the color schemes now, to give a variety of everything. But it looks like they might start to, like, maybe trim down on the amount of leaders that they get, and then give us, like, more support.
Mm.
Because then we might start actually getting support for these multicolor leaders as well, where we might actually get a multicolor card, I guess, more so than anything, right? Like, where it is locked to only playing it with a leader with those colors on there. So going to be
Mm.
interesting to see where this kind of goes. Speaking of going there, they've already started here, and Whitebeard getting first turn, up and down the Nami, looking at the top 5. So not a completely wasted turn one that we sometimes see from Whitebeard players, and giving us an insight that he is running the Luffy promo, the vanilla.
Yeah, it's got the counter power available. It's such a great skillless card. Has great stat line.
And a curly in response from the Law player.
Yeah, both just getting that cycle going.
Optimal turn plays from both players, right? Did he? I don't think I saw him actually grab anything from that. He might have
Yeah, it looks like
missed.
only 4 cards in hand. So, oh
Uh,
no, he's got 5. He's
5, but
got
he got to
5.
draw from the start of the turn. So yeah, he actually missed.
Mm. Yeah, right. Just nothing to. 3 is a
Yeah.
bit of an awkward don for the Whitebeard unless you've got the Nico Robbins. So just opting to get the 5K swing in while he can,
Yep.
and
Wow.
yeah, get some damage.
Brayden ended up taking it, and then 6K into lead. Yeah, didn't want to waste a 2K on the 5K swing. Understandable.
Or he perhaps just got it off life, and maybe his hand is just a little average at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, it could very well be. Trying to figure out what's going on here. There is a judge that is watching the stream table as well, guys. So actually, no, not anymore. They have gone, but yeah, just Brayden waiting to kind of pick up the card for his turn. Not really. There we go. Turn might now be
Mm.
starting. He has undone all of his Don. But he's revealing the second card.
Yeah.
I don't know why he revealed the second card there, unless there is a judge that is now actually looking over this.
Yeah, perhaps when he accidentally saw it, or
I don't remember seeing that at all. Like, I'm a little bit
yeah,
confused
I
on
mean,
what ended up
we would be
happening there.
able to we would be able to see it. Perhaps Braden accidentally saw it, like, and it wasn't actually. I don't know. That's yeah.
Very interesting to say the least. But they're getting back into it now, and it looks like he's drawn the one. He's swinging with Curly into the Nami, so just getting the value out of that card itself. And like you said, Ryan, it might be that the hand of Braden is not looking too crash hot here. It does have
Oh
three for the
yeah,
Zorro
yeah,
Rush, and
yeah.
then has to pass, of course.
If you're
But
playing a Zorro instead of a one drop or a two drop in War, that's a telling sign that your hand's probably
not where you want
very
it to be.
clunky at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and you're starting to see it now.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he's going to get the opportunity to draw an Atama here, which we're all aware of.
Which, yeah, now obviously Nathan is obviously very aware of what new card kind of got into there.
Yeah, a very slow start for Law.
Not one that you normally do see, yeah. I mean, and it feels like that Nathan can kind of just really play his game without any cares in the world now. Doesn't have to worry about like the board state of Law. Doesn't have to start like swinging into cards and making sure that he removes them. Obviously gets rid of the Curly, but is able to play the Luffy on field to kind of just keep this pressure up now of building his board state and then eventually going for, I mean, sometimes the kill turn.
Yeah, it seems that he just doesn't have any kind of searches to be able to find the cards that he needs either.
He's got, yeah, like you'd think if he has the one cost or the two cost, you know, he'd be able to just straight away dump it down and then, you know, trying to figure out what he's trying to do. But I'm not seeing a Bonnie. I'm not seeing a Nami. There could have been another Curly if he really wanted to, if he had it. And he's putting one under Rush Zoro. He's putting one under Law Lead. He's leaving himself with 3 Don, I think it is now. 4 Don, sorry. And he's just, you know, these are snap decisions that you make when you play Law, right? Yeah, has to pay another 3 for Rush Zoro here. And that is a sign that you are not in a very good position here, playing Law here. Which again, Brian, we've spoken about it throughout the day, and the consistency here showing off for Whitebeard, paying 7 for Ace Rush, and now here comes the onslaught. You're going to be able to swing into both Zoros here, giving your opponent no advantage whatsoever, clearing out the board state of Law. And if he starts dropping cards from hand, which he already doesn't want to do because he doesn't have like the cards to really play around with anyway, and look at that.
Yeah, now you get a free 7k swing into the lead, and yeah, just not being able to find these searches to find the searches, you know, to continue getting this draw going.
Yeah,
it's really unfortunate. And
there you go.
There we go. We find Bonnie. You hope to find another kind of
maybe a beige.
Low cost, yeah. Beige would probably be ideal at this point. But just so much Don is going to be required to even set up the 5 characters on the field where you can't put any pressure on the Ace or the Luffy that are already established. And but you do need to be mindful of the Whitebeard as well. Like you don't want to go down to 0 and just get 15k leader swinging into face. Yeah.
And that's what I think now, obviously, Braden has to do, right? He has to really just try and get to the point. And there you go, another Bonnie. That's not bad
Bonnie
either.
finds Bonnie. Yeah, that's good.
Something that you really wish that you had a lot earlier. You haven't really seen Nathan use any cards to, like, KO or, like, you know, neg cards. He's really just using his own bodies to swing, which both of these Bonnies will obviously be gone next turn if Nathan really wants to. But I mean, if you're Nathan here and you're only staring down 2 Bonnies in rest mode, you might just continue to start swinging a face, and he's going to tap 4.
And Atama Vista.
Yeah, I mean, Needs to do it one at a time. You can't be tapping
Yeah.
4 and then only showing the Otama. It doesn't work that way when you're
Okay, double Otama. Okay, Chopper and
wow.
Bonnie. All right. So he's got the 5 established. Cost him a lot of cards from hand, but he has been able to neg something by 4K. Uh, Assumably the ace. Okay, removing the
Going for the
Luffy.
Luffy, yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I feel like then Braden must have had these cards in hand the whole time, and like just held off until he got all of them at once, and now he's able to bring out the Law. He's able to bring back Bonnie again into active mode, and now he's actually sitting pretty. He's taken down the Luffy vanilla.
Yep.
He's sitting on 2 life. He's able to get
2
5 bodies on
blockers.
the board, and he's got Law that's going to be a 6k blocker, and obviously the Chopper as a 1k as well. And you can't swing into these Bonnies either because he hasn't left him in rest mode. So all of a sudden, the one turn that Braden actually had, insane.
Yeah, it did bring him back a little bit. He was able to establish the bodies, which is good, but his hand size is quite low now, which is a bit of a problem. And if we see a Newgate SR here, yeah, Whitebeard's just got such a high life total. Does he not have? He's got 9 done, doesn't he?
He does.
Yep, there we go. Now Whitebeard is in a bit of a comfortable position of having really strong bodies on the field that are difficult to remove with the amount of cards in hand, and Law's got a smaller hand. He needs to establish another low-cost card, and thankfully these Bonnies will allow him to search for more cards, like another Law.
Yep.
But yeah, just some really powerful cards on Whitebeard's side that are going to be difficult to defend, regardless of what he finds here. These Law blockers are good for one attack, but they're going to start falling quickly.
Finds a Rush Zoro.
And yeah, I just wonder if I wonder if this these 5 characters just came out just a little bit too late. The damage might have just been done on.
The thing is, you're still staring down the Whitebeard SR, the Ace, and also the leader, and your opponent is still on that 2 life total. So you are right. Wow, opting to play 1 for Otama. We do know that he has another Bonnie in hand. Decided to go this route instead. Going to be very interesting to see what he decides now. Obviously, he's going to bounce a Bonnie back. He could just play the Zoro in return. But if he does have another Law into Zoro, that's also pretty important to note that this could be a very, very big turn for him. But leader is at 8k. He's got to remember this. Still quite an investment. You might want to just set up your board. Yeah.
He has negged the ace by 5, which is good. But if he can go bounce Otama back into Law, bounce Otama back into Zoro, that'd be pretty strong.
Yep. 7 into ace, I would imagine. I don't think you can't. Well, you can't go lead. If he did go lead, then he's just made a mistake. But I would assume he's going into ace.
7 into the ace, which is 5k.
6 cards.
And Whitebeard's going to be very powerful at removing some of these characters as well for 2 Don.
2 Don, yep, absolutely. Can take out 2 bodies at once.
Exactly, yeah. And we know that just so many 1 costs have come out into the field. He's got a Bonnie in hand, but how many more 1 costs can he have?
Thinking now.
Really thinking about how much he wants to commit to saving the ace.
I mean,
obviously
I don't blame him.
Get 2 cards.
Yep. And, you know, being able to use those Bonnies to search again, and because they were already established on the board prior, 6 cards now all of a sudden in Braden's hand again.
Yeah. Now, still a lot of Namis probably running around in that deck. He's got Curly's in there as well.
Yep.
You can fair to assume there's another Law. Which, yep, there it is.
Oh, yeah.
Law, bounce back Otama. You get 4k worth of counter back into your hand.
Yeah.
You get a blocker on the field, and you're able to play out a rush character.
Yeah.
And just opting to swing 8k and try and deal some damage here.
Yep. Really put your opponent in some uncomfortable position. He didn't save the ace. Right? So now that you're swinging with 8 into 8, he still has to get rid of 1 card in hand, but it's a lot less painful than it is to save the ace at that time. So
Yeah.
going to be interesting here. I mean, one combo, doesn't matter if it's a 1k or a 2k coming out from Nathan, to make sure he doesn't take that life. And again, we speak about this all the time. Whitebeard does not want to take life from opponent swings, but he actually
Mm.
ends up taking it. 6 cards in hand. Didn't want to combo out of it if he did have it. But that is a bit of a scary sign now when you look at Whitebeard, considering you're staring down the 2 blockers, the Zorro, the 2 jewelry Bonnies that'll be able to draw 2 cards for 2 Don next turn, and then give you the freedom of being able to replace and play something with your leader effect.
Yeah, I think he needs an event card here, and he has to start leaving Don up inactive. Yeah, he finds the Radical Beam, because he's going to go down to 0 life at the end of this turn. And from there, you start getting into a bit of a dangerous position where you can use the starter deck lore to restand some of these characters and attack with them for high numbers twice.
And the comeback
from
Brayden,
and again,
when it looked
just so
super
powerful.
grim, has now established the Rush Zorro, the 2 laws, being able to get so much advantage from the Bonnies.
Mm.
And there you go.
One of them's going to get cleaned up here, and assumably, do you think this is going into life?
I thought it might go into the Rush Zorro, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
But going into
initially,
life,
I didn't think too, but putting him down to 0 life would be pretty strong too, obviously, or forcing one of these laws to block, and you get the pop on a Bonnie, so it's 2 characters kind of gone.
If I'm Brayden, I probably just take it if it goes into life, right? Though your opponent's going to be on 0 life. Obviously, depending what he does with the other 7 Don that's still available. But I feel like you've still got those 2 blockers on the field that you can hold on to. Their 6k swings naturally into Whitebeard as well, so both of them will go through.
Yeah, you can afford to take the life.
I think so.
Keep those blockers available.
I think I agree there, because Bonnie's gone. Yeah, and he does. Yeah, absolutely. I would do the same.
Yeah. And this is fine. Is at best he can swing this for 8k. And we already know that he's got at least 1 Otama in hand, so but just opts to leave it at 6. Easy 2k. Yep, you've seen that one. And leaves the 2 Don up for what's most likely 2 Radical Beams.
Has to take the life.
If we see a starter deck lore coming down, this could be very difficult for Whitebeard to get out of.
I think it already is difficult to get out of, Ryan, to be quite honest with you. Even if he opts to go for the 15 with lead, right? He just plumps in 10.
I don't think that's the right play. If he's got 2 Radical Beams, then he's in dangerous territory from there, because that will put him to 14k off 2 cards.
He's thinking about it.
No, I think he's just trying to organise what's his best possible play. And I do think that it's multiple 6k swings to start forcing these cards out of hand might be the play.
Interesting. He's gone the Frankie for the 1k.
Yeah, and Law's not living through this turn, I don't think. Like the next turn.
Nah, no way. This is where you put 10 Don under Whitebeard. Oh, actually, no, not really. He's still got 2 law swings, so he needs to keep those up. If he can't bring his opponent's hand size down with the other swings that he's got, like with Leader and then obviously Rush Zorro, you just keep your law blockers inactive.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You have to.
You should have some choppers lying around, which will force Don onto the Whitebeard. If you've got multiple 1-drop blockers, then you've got multiple blocks available as well. Yeah, just really deciding. Bonnie can look for another 1-drop that can get you the 5 characters that you need to trigger your leader effect. Really high level play from both players here.
Absolutely.
And what a turnaround from the start of the game,
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
it? Like Law just looked really like he wasn't finding any of the cards that we needed. He revealed Otama, which we're not too sure about, and
yeah.
we just thought that this game was so one-sided. And in one turn, he was able to establish the five that he needed. He was able to start getting his engine going, and really kind of flip the switch, didn't he?
Just really put on the Jets like for one turn. Like was able to use all of his. I think it was 9. No, it was 8. Don actually at that turn because he wasn't at the full level of 10 and he did go second. So with that 8 Don, he just managed to just set up like
Mm,
what should have been done a turn ago, but like really brought him back into the game again. So we're just going to see now another one coming in. He does have another Bonnie, I believe. He hasn't
mm.
actually.
There's a chopper as well, I believe, as well.
Oh,
Okay,
Itama.
Atama onto the Luffy.
Apparently so.
We're going to try and remove the biggest threat at this point, which is the Luffy that can ignore blockers. Brings it down to a 4K. It's a 6 into a 4. Maybe just trying to force an event card out of hand. Oh,
Yeah.
he went for it.
Yep.
He's thinking about letting it go. Yep.
Wow.
Okay. Bonnie search. This Bonnie's gotten so much value for
Oh
Law.
yeah, man. Oh yeah.
Just constantly adding cards. If you can find another blocker here, another 5-drop Law would be just devastating as well, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, there's the starter deck Law. Both players have seen it now. You know that it's around. It's always a threat. But you probably just don't have the Don to really close out this turn with it. You might have to wait until the following turn. We could see the Atama get bounced back to hand to establish something else.
Yeah.
The problem that he also has here is if he wants to try and defend through the next turn and has to use some of these blockers, some of these law blockers, then he needs to reestablish more characters onto the field the following turn just to be able to get the another law blocker.
Yeah. I mean, he's sitting quite pretty now,
Mm,
but is it enough to like? Uh, yeah.
bounce the Zorro back and play it again. And this might be a 9K swing and just get some cards out of hand while you can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This will eat an event card and another card, or just a stack of counter power. We know that he's got a Tama in hand, so that's another 1-drop that he can establish the next turn if one of these
If he
laws does
needs
go
to.
down. He doesn't have the 5 characters,
Yeah.
and that's a card to bounce back to play out the starter deck law, which is really good. Did you not put 4 Don under the Zora, or was it only 3?
I think 3.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Ah, yeah. I could have sworn that he had 4. Oh,
Uh.
Whitebeard's a 6K. So that
Yeah.
gets him to 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. I know the investment that you have to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to I always forget that Whitebeard's a 6K. It just slipped my mind there. So the Radical Beam gets him to 10 and gets out of that 9K attack.
And now just going naked 6, just opting to swing with the leader. I mean, if Braden has a 2K counter here, he doesn't even have to use the law blocker. And he's trying to calculate it here as well. He's just like, okay, Not
Maybe
what I
he's
was
just trying to
expecting.
get.
Wow, just dropping one of them knows that if he gets to his turn, he wins, right? You just drop all of them in unless somehow Nathan ends up playing some blockers to kind of control that point, but you don't really do it unless it's Marco, but even then you still got multiple swings, so I don't think you even care.
Yeah, I think the reason that he blocked is that he didn't want to use a card from hand, purely because if a Rush Luffy comes down and swings for 11, then he might not be able to get out of it. So a bit of a safer play there, knowing that he wants to keep the cards in hand just in case that card comes down, because the Whitebeard SR isn't necessarily going to be a threat with these blockers available. Do you think we'll ever see another 6K leader?
I mean, the downside of it, obviously, it does have to take its own life. So I understand that they balance it out very well. And obviously, the multicolor leaders that are at 5 are also very balanced.
See, this is why it's just such a safe play to be able to. This is it. This is Whitebeard's turn. This is 11,
Yep,
7,
8,
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh! Wow. Now, can Whitebeard get out of a 16K attack? Because you don't have the cards in hand to establish the bodies. This is it.
The Don is done. Yeah, the Don is all done. And now, obviously, if you're...
Do you go 6-6 and then...
No. You put 10... You have to get out of 16, right? You put it all on Law here and just go for the 16K swing.
I don't think that you do. I think that if you can get a 2K counter out of hand for the Law and Zoro swing, and then the remainder goes on the Law. If he has to over counter for those attacks, it's less counter power that he has to defend on the Law. Yeah, this is it. 6K, hope for a 2K counter.
Yeah.
6K, hope for a 2K counter. There he goes. All right, and the remainder, 14K. There it is.
8-10, yeah. Didn't have the Don available for it. Wow, he had to dump his hand and give it his all. Wow. But he ends up being able to bring that one back. Braden with the Law plays, the turn 4 play that brought him back into the game and brought him from the brink of death. That was amazing. And honestly, any dead card in Braden's hand, he
knew that card was the only thing that could beat him, and that's why he blocked with the Law. Yeah. He had the 12 counter in hand, and he knew that if a Rush Luffy comes down, it can max get to 11, and that's the only way he can close out. And yeah, that is such a heads-up play there. Braden was really smart in being able to bring it back and utilize that blocker there.
Did what he needed to do, did what he needed to do and made sure he came back from, the brink of death. Played it amazingly, and that's what happens when you get these players, again, like coming into these later rounds. They know their decks inside and out. They know the matchups inside and out. They know what to do, when to do it, and, it's fantastic to watch, and I can't wait to see more of that because we are pretty much just past the halfway line now, Ryan. We got 4 more rounds to go, but that is it from us for round number 5. We have roughly 10 minutes left on that and then 5 minutes overtime, so another 15 minutes. We'll take it to a quick break, probably return here at about 2:30 AEST, but that is round number 5 going to Braden Walker playing Law. We hope to see him a little bit later, and we hope to see you guys in the next game as well.